Are you looking to grow revenues, increase profitability, or obtain financing? If so, you came to the right place.
Running a business is all about leadership. How do you become a better leader? Learn from the successful entrepreneurs and business owners how to lead your organization more effectively. That's why we created Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business, to help you succeed with your host, Andrew Frazier, Business Growth Pro and CFO and founder of the Small Business Pro University. Every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're joined by experienced entrepreneurs and business owners who share their secrets to success via live stream. Also, every Friday morning, we release a new podcast episode. Either way, you will learn about developing your business leadership skills from our roster of highly performing guest experts. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.
All right, good evening and welcome back to Leadership Live at 8:05. Of course, I'm your host, Andrew Frazier, and excited to be here with you once again on Tuesday evening. Always appreciate everybody tuning in, your comments, your questions, and looking forward to making this a great show tonight. So thanks for joining. And, as we go through the show, I think that, you really get a lot out of it. Definitely, passion's an important piece of having a business, but, as you see the title, passion won't pay your bills in the age of AI. So being successful in business takes a lot of different things, but in the age of AI, there's even more key things that you should take into account and you should look at utilizing to really move your business forwards more successfully, faster, and easier. So I'm really excited about our guest this evening, Nikki Barua, and we're just going to have a chat. She speaks all over the country and I guess the world about this topic. So she's very knowledgeable, has a lot of great experience, and very happy that she's willing to take the time out of her busy schedule to come hang out with us this evening. Hey, Nikki, how you doing tonight?
Doing great, Andrew. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Excellent. So definitely, I'm excited as well because I know I'm going to be learning things as well as the audience. So I always love to learn and, started taking advantage of AI in different ways in my business and, looking forward to utilize as much as possible because it's a really powerful tool. So look forward to learning more about it and how to do that from you today.
Well, the thing is we're all learning because the best part about AI is that it turns all of us into rookies who have to have that mindset of curiosity and humility to just, be open to new things. And that's what the power of the technology really is.
Excellent. So we're going to dig into that. But before we do, you've got, an extensive background and experience, and I couldn't really give justice to it, explain it to everyone. So if you take a few minutes to share a little bit about your journey and sort of how you got to where you are and some of the key milestones.
Sure. Well, the through line of my journey has been all about reinvention, from being an immigrant who came to this country, almost 30 years ago and, just had a lot of big dreams and believed that this was the place where my dreams would come true. But it forced me to reinvent myself, right? Because when you come to a new place where you know nothing and you have no resources, you have no support system, you have to adapt very quickly. And so some of the hardest times, from that experience also became fuel for learning how to build that resilience and to build that skill of reinvention. And that has served me throughout my career, from my early corporate career and working with some of the world's largest companies, helping them reinvent and leverage technology and innovation to grow their businesses, from Fortune 500 clients and working with them, to then, stepping into the entrepreneurial world and building my own companies. It's constantly been that same quest. How can people and organizations leverage technology and innovation to grow faster, to get bigger, and to be more successful and create more impact in the world? And so everything I've done throughout my career has really just followed the same exact pattern of helping others reinvent, and in the process of doing that, needing to reinvent myself as well. So as we stand here today, we are really experiencing one of the greatest disruptions in modern human history. And that's what AI really has brought about. And it is forcing all of us to reimagine, ourselves, our skills, our businesses, and really understand what our true value proposition is in this new AI age. And so for me, it's been fascinating. It's almost like all of my past experiences have prepared me to meet the moment and really bring all of my skills, experiences, wisdom, and perspective to be able to create impact for people and companies as they navigate through all of this uncertainty and risk. So full circle moment for me in my journey and my career, and could not be more thrilled about the decade ahead, because everything is sort of like a blank canvas, and we can paste anything into it that we desire.
Excellent. So definitely, reinvention is so key, and even more important now than ever. As an entrepreneur and small business owner, many times, we feel that we're at a disadvantage, but actually it's a lot easier for us to reinvent ourselves than larger organizations to.
Absolutely. I mean, the challenge of reinvention is really about speed, agility, and adaptability. And if you really think of a big company with, billions of dollars in revenue and hundreds of thousands of employees versus a small business, it's like comparing the Titanic to a small speedboat. You've got the advantage as a small business owner. But often what gets in the way of embracing that as an advantage is mindset. Where we get stuck in our old playbook, the formula that made our business successful in the first place, or made us comfortable and built our reputation. Being willing to shed that and let go of that safety and security and certainty, that kind of is a challenging thing for all human beings, because we're literally wired that way by evolution to seek that. So it's an advantage for small business owners, but unless you shift your identity and your mindset, you're not going to be able to make that leap. And then you're at a greater disadvantage because you don't have the resources and the size of a big company to protect yourself.
No, definitely. I mean, I think, at the end of the day, as a small business owner, to be successful, you need to be proactive, creative, and flexible. And that's really how you reinvent yourself. But now you just have to do it at a faster cycle.
Yeah, it's true.
But the great thing is challenges create opportunities. So there's opportunities where there weren't. And if you can identify them and be proactive, creative, and flexible, you can really move your business forward in a good way.
Absolutely. I think, I really believe we're entering the golden age of entrepreneurship. I think the decade ahead, you're going to see a lot more people step into entrepreneurship. And for those that already have businesses, this is a huge opportunity to grow, to scale, to capitalize on, problems that weren't available to be solved before. And that's why it's even more important to not just be a bystander. Don't let this moment pass you by and be too afraid to step into the arena or wait for someone to tell you what to do differently. You got to just leap forward.
Okay, excellent. So, before we go forward, we just want to reiterate, audience, we always appreciate your comments. Thank you for you guys commenting already. We appreciate your questions, and we'll try to get to all of them. We're not always able to, so get your questions in sooner rather than later, and then it's more likely that we'll be able to get to them. Fair enough?
Sounds good.
Excellent. So we're going to take a quick break because we do the show through the Small Business Pro University as one of our brain trust initiatives. But it's always good to make sure that everybody knows what the Small Business Pro University is. So we have a short video that we're going to play, but also, audience members, if you can put in the chat, where are you joining us from? I'm from New Jersey, Nikki,
New York,
City, but by way of many other places. And definitely want to know where you're joining us from. So here's a little bit about Small Business Pro University. Many small businesses experience low or no revenue growth, and the owners are not making enough money. I founded Small Business Pro University to help you break that cycle by empowering you with greater knowledge and enhanced skills to lead your organization more effectively. Over the past 15 years, I've collaborated with organizations like the Small Business Development Center, Rising Tide Capital, Empower the Village, NJMEP, Rutgers University, and SCORE to work one-on-one with over 1,000 business owners and teach tens of thousands of people about business. My experience includes serving as a naval officer, managing businesses, graduating from MIT, earning an MBA from NYU, and achieving the CFA designation, which has prepared me to accomplish my mission of helping 1.8 million business owners to sell more, maximize profit, and finance growth by 2028. My vision is to create the ultimate business ecosystem for entrepreneurs. Small Business Pro University empowers entrepreneurs like you to run their businesses more professionally and create sustainable enterprises. We employ my proven proprietary Masterpreneur Playbook framework to guide your journey along the Masterpreneur path and facilitate your Masterpreneur evolution to work on your business and scale faster and easier. Small Business Pro University provides access to valuable resources, partnerships, and relationships that will help you to sell more, maximize profit, and finance growth. Our Masterpreneur initiatives include the Small Business Pro Network, 100+ expert-led multimedia courses, intensive training workshops, Spanish language training, Leadership Live at 8:05 live stream and podcast, in-person Power Breakfast events, and advisory coaching, consulting, and training services. Okay, welcome back. I'm here with Nikki, and we're talking about passion won't pay your bills in the age of AI. And actually, Devania sort of stole my question, so I will put her question up here. And that is, how do we balance passion with actual profit? And especially in this day and age, because everybody says follow your passion, but you need a little more than that. So if you can share a little bit about your perspective on it.
Yeah, I think this is one of the areas that I see so many first-time founders, especially, kind of lose their way, because often our desire to start our own business comes from a place of, passion for a certain topic or a certain business problem we want to solve, or a product that we are excited about that we've created. And it's also the desire for freedom and autonomy and flexibility and all of those things. So we're passionate. We bring so much energy into this idea of a new business, and it doesn't always translate into business success. Even if you work really, really hard and bring in tremendous passion into everything you create, it does not equal to business success unless you find product market fit. The most important thing is be passionate about your customers' problems rather than being passionate about your own products or services. When we're obsessed about the thing that we enjoy and lose sight of what the customer's real problems are and how big is that market that you can serve, you're going to miss that connection between connecting your passion to actual profit. That's really the key, is find the problem that you're passionate about rather than worrying about the solution you're passionate about. And once you get those connected, that's where you'll start to see real success. And what I've also found is sometimes you start in areas that you may not be the area of greatest passion, but once you start helping people and seeing your customers get tremendous value out of your service or your product, and you start to create that impact, you start feeling greater passion, because nothing feels better than actual contribution. No amount of self-service or accolades are as great as the feeling of giving and contributing to somebody else. And that's really where passion really should come from.
No, that's a great point. Definitely passion is important, but at the end of the day, if you're going to be successful in business, it's about your product market fit. And but there's ways to tie them together, like you said. So that's critically important. So now talk a little bit about how AI has changed the landscape of business, because I think as a small business owner, many times you have your head down and look up and, you're like, what's going on? Tell us a little bit about the key things that we should know about what's going on, given what's happening with AI in the marketplace.
Well, look, for most small business owners, the reality of every day is, you're kind of on this hamster wheel, right? Like you're, either busy, serving your customers, or busy trying to make a sale or manage operations. And there's just not enough hours in the day to achieve all of those things well. And, that was in normal times. So what has really happened now is things are changing so much faster because of AI, and markets are shifting really quickly. So it doesn't matter what your expertise used to be or what your business was great at doing in the past. You have to take a step back and really assess, is there still a need for that kind of solution in the market going forward? Because there's so many things that are being built with AI, or solutions that are almost automatic and free with AI, that if there's something that you used to do and AI can do it better, faster, and certainly cheaper, that is a huge disruption on your business. So what's really important is to be highly objective and rational about it, and not be attached to the past. Don't focus on the sunk costs. It doesn't matter how many years you built your business. It doesn't matter how hard you worked at it. You can build your strategy looking in the rear view mirror. You got to look outside, look through the windshield, look at what's ahead. And from that, identify, what is the real relevance of, how is the problem for the market change? Are they facing the same problems? And are there other solutions that can solve it better than what your business offers? And if so, disrupt yourself before you get disrupted. It's time for you to actually change your business in a way that you can put it in line, of the greatest growth we're seeing, rather than being like, ride the tsunami instead of being crushed by it.
All right. Excellent. So, assessment's really important at all times, but especially now. And actually, this is the time of year when you should assess, on Thanksgiving break. But, as an entrepreneur.
Well, actually, I would say, even those cycles have changed now, because what's really important is for business owners to kind of move from, 3-year plans and 1-year plans to really thinking in 90-day sprints. Technology change, especially for AI, is happening monthly and quarterly. So if you are planning and looking at the economy or the market or even your competition once a year, you've missed 4 cycles of change in the meantime, right? So I think it's partly really on your commercial, Andrew, you had this thing about working on the business, and that has become more important than ever before. You can no longer be immersed just in your business and hope that the change does not affect you.
Okay, excellent. So I like what you share about 90-day sprints, but a lot of us are just regular people. So you've got the corporate lingo. So I'm going to ask you
take some time every 3 months. Every 3 months, take a break, walk away from working in your business, and actually take a step back and scan the market. Ask yourself a set of questions that helps you get a real sense, a real pulse on how things are looking outside, right? So look at what are the and this is where you can actually use AI to help you as you do this market research. You can get McKinsey level business strategy for your business just by using AI for that. You don't have to do this alone, but you do have to ask the right questions. Ask in your industry, what are the biggest shifts happening? How does, what are the greatest areas of growth and demand? How does your business line up with that? Is it aligned with that area of growth, or is it getting left behind? And if it is getting left behind, what are the things that will help you bridge where you are to where you want to be? And if you do that, just that simple exercise of alignment, all you're doing is seeing where that growth path is and making sure you stay in alignment with that. If you do that every 3 months and just take some time away from your business to focus on the business, you're going to be able to adapt a lot quicker.
And it's amazingly how powerful the AI is in telling you what you need to know about your industry, about your business, about your, where things are going. So, I'd encourage you, if you haven't, just ask AI to assess your website and give a rating on it. Ask, how can I improve it?
Yeah.
And the trends are so important. So, asking about that is key as well. So definitely.
Well, I'll give you a quick example of, there's so many people in the coaching and consulting business, in the coaching and consulting industry. That's a category that is getting massively disrupted by AI, right? I mean, if you haven't done it yet, ask AI to be your coach and give you, career advice or business advice or life advice. And if you can get that for free, now think about what that does to all of the thousands of coaches out there whose livelihood that is. So you really have to figure out, well, if AI can do that, what am I bringing to the table that people will still pay for and still value? And that's why it's so important to think in terms of reinvention. Who are you in the AI age? Because the passion that got you here may not be enough to generate a profit. You really have to think about, how do you amplify the uniquely human parts of yourself and lead with that instead of trying to compete with AI, because you will not win that race.
Okay, no, great point. And actually, I think it was 2 weeks ago, our show was on the rise in AI coaching.
Yeah.
And sort of the opportunities and challenges of it. But, the big thing is it democratizes coaching. So anybody can get access to pretty decent coaching. But there's still things that the AI coaching can't do and maybe won't ever be able to fully do because it's not necessarily going to have the same experience that others may have, or the same empathy or ability to connect with people. But definitely
100%. Yeah.
You know,
That's it. I mean, if you run a coaching business, then think about how you leverage AI to provide more value to your clients in the time that you have, but leverage your own skills and your capacity to do the things that AI can do. You can bring wisdom and perspective. You have judgment, based on the context. You are able to connect and empathize and make someone feel safe. That's something a machine can do. And so you really have to think about, how do you become exponentially more capable by leveraging AI to do the things that machines can do better than humans, but double down on the parts that only you can do. And your zone of genius is what you want to lead with.
definitely, definitely. So you talked about, you do a lot of change management.
Mm-hmm.
If you could talk a little bit about what that really means,
Mm-hmm.
but also, what I've, heard about and seen is that most change management efforts don't succeed.
Yeah.
So if you could talk a little bit about that and why or why not they may or may not succeed.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, first of all, change management has to change too, because it's pretty outdated. And, the old school way of doing change management used to be top down. The boss decides, the CEO decides that some kind of change is necessary for the organization, and they bring in outsiders. They bring in some big consulting company, and in come a whole bunch of experts with their solutions to your problems. And the change management process is episodic, where there's a start date and an end date, and they come in and tell you what to change, and they figure out the old way of doing things. They give you a new way of doing things and help you kind of make that transition, and then they're out, right? Well, that kind of change management does not work in this fast-paced world that we're living in right now. Because if you have a start date and end date, well, by the time you're done with that change management, something new is going to change. And now you're not prepared for that. It also doesn't work when it's top down, because really what you want is to empower people with the tools for transformation that allows them to reinvent themselves, reimagine their own workflows, the way they do the work, and then give them the tools that help them succeed. So that kind of, this continuous reinvention cycle is the new way of change, and it's the change that actually sticks and works. But for small business owners, the most important thing to keep in mind is you are responsible as much for running your business as you are for changing it. There's not going to be somebody else that'll come in and remind you or tell you to innovate or do things differently. As a business owner, it's your responsibility to really take a step back and say, what parts of my business do I need to reinvent? What parts of myself do I need to reinvent? And what parts do I still keep, or what parts do I change? And you have to do that. Again, I'll remind you of that, like every 3 months, take a moment to really ask yourself that and get a pulse check. Because if you're not constantly adapting, you are getting left behind every moment that you're standing still.
All right. So definitely. I think that, as a small business owner, like you said, nobody's going to prompt you.
Yeah.
And you almost need to make it a part of your culture.
Yeah.
Maybe every quarter you have a change meeting or whatever. But, also when you're managing change and leading change, there's different skills, and you have to manage and lead in different ways. Can you sort of maybe compare and contrast sort of, leadership in regular times and leadership, under change management situations, and, how you should behave or what you should focus on as a leader?
Yeah, leadership too is evolving so much now in context of navigating through all of this uncertainty and newness. The speed and scale of change we're experiencing is unlike anything we've seen in the past. And what that means is, rather than leaders showing up like they know it all, that they're experts, and they have the answer. The reality is nobody does. We're all learning as we go. So lead by example, by showing the vulnerability, showing the curiosity, showing the humility, and saying, there's a lot going on and I don't have the answers, but I'm willing to learn and figure it out. And I want you to come along with me and figure this out together. Because if we do, then there's a tremendous amount of opportunity and profit and growth on the other side. And to really be sort of leading, think of it like leading a mission, leading people towards a mission. You've got a very clear objective, but you are part of that movement rather than command and control. It's really about like empowering people to innovate and to like think differently in this age. And in there, if you do this as part of your culture, where you're constantly looking for ways to improve, constantly looking for ways to leverage AI, that's where the profit is really hidden. So if you're thinking about, wow, I don't have the time to do this, or I need to keep doing my job, so rather than focus on reinvention or focusing on what AI can do, you're also missing out on the growth and the profit opportunities. Think about all of the low value tasks or services, even in your business, how you run your business, whether it's client facing or back office. There's so many ways to leverage AI to get things done for a fraction of the cost. And imagine having your gross margin double just by being able to do that, creating more value for the customers, but also operating much more efficiently. When you make that transition, that's where you really kind of not only release profit, but more importantly, you kind of build a system that leads to scalable growth. And that's where so many businesses get stuck, which is they have a formula that works up to a certain size, but they can't break through the ceiling of a certain revenue number. And it's often not because they lack the effort or the passion, it's because they lack the systems and the strategies that get them there.
Definitely, even in my business, taking advantage of AI, one of the things that I do is help people get financing.
Mm-hmm.
And, in that, doing their financial projections, doing their business plan.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm more of a financial projection person than a business plan writing person, but I know what needs to go in the business plan. So, AI really helps me to write a business plan a lot better and faster with the efficiency. AI still on financial projections isn't there.
Yeah.
So, there's still a need, but I can focus on what I do best and do it more efficiently. So, look at how it can assist you in what you're trying to do. So
that's a great example, though, Andrew, of you shared like the deliverables you offer to your customers, to your clients is financial plan, projections, and business plan, and one piece you're passionate about and you enjoy, and the other portion maybe not. And it's a great example of leveraging AI for the pieces you don't enjoy doing or would rather put time. But now it releases that capacity for you to actually put that into either a even better financial projection or being able to give more time to your clients to explain what it all means and really shift to higher value work. That's really the key. It's not about replacing the human. It's allowing the human to do more of what, is actually valuable and amplifying that.
So, so definitely that's huge. So now, we've talked about AI, but it's still a little theoretical in that, everybody knows, okay, I need to do AI, but how do I do AI?
Yeah.
What do I do if I want to use AI?
Right.
Where should they start? What should they be doing initially?
Well, the starting point, if you are new to the AI journey, the very first thing to do is keep in mind business fundamentals. It's not about the technology. It's about what your business objectives are, right? So if you are a small business that, all of us really have the same 3 sets of things, it's, finding a customer, making the product or service, delivering the product or service, and managing the operations of the business. So if you look at those 3 buckets or those 3 categories of work, which one is really holding you back? Is it that you can't get enough customers? Maybe that's the challenge. You wish you had more customers and you can't figure out how to get them. Or is the challenge that you have a lot of customers, but it's taking you an enormous amount of time to serve those customers? And you just don't have enough support. You don't have enough headcount. You don't have enough capacity, and you're working insane hours just trying to keep up. Or is the problem that, you've got great customers and you love the work and you're doing fine with that, but maybe you can't figure out how to manage the operations in a way that's cost efficient. Maybe you're paying too many people or too many support services to run every part of your business. Look at those 3 categories, whether it's how you get customers, or how you serve the customers, or how you manage the business. Which one of those makes the most sense for you to focus on? And if you could solve that problem, that would unleash your business. So the question you have to ask yourself is, what is the real blocker? What is holding me back from success in my business to get to the next level? Which one of those 3 pieces would give the greatest leverage? And then once you find that, that's where you start to think about, how can I use AI in that use case? So let's take, for example, getting more customers. Again, break it down to the next steps of that. Are you focusing on the right market? Are there markets you haven't been able to reach before that AI can help you reach? Maybe it's the market analysis. Maybe it's the customer segmentation. Maybe it is content creation that allows you to get your message out at scale. Maybe it's lead nurturing, that you're able to use AI-driven sales systems that helps you manage your lead pipeline a lot better. Or if it is, being more efficient with, how you actually generate demand. So there's so many pieces of that again, keep breaking it down to what is the real blocker and start there. And the reason you want to go about it that way, rather than just going into ChatGPT and, playing around with it, is it gives real purpose for AI to solve your real business problems. Okay. When you focus on the real value proposition, then apply AI, now you're going to get results that will skyrocket your business. Either it'll drive your growth, drive your efficiency, or drive more profit. And once you do that successfully in one area, take the next area and keep going through this, because there's endless areas for us to improve in our businesses, but often we don't have the time to do it. So think of AI as an extra headcount, right? And every time, you could even go to the extent of building AI agents that now add more people on your team, each one with a certain function that can be done. Imagine even if you're a small business with a handful of people, imagining doubling your capacity and headcount and your skills to be able to run your business. That's really the power that AI brings to the table. But none of that is possible if you are a bystander and waiting to step into the arena. You've got to be bold, and you've got to be curious, and just start experimenting. And the more you break it down into specific business challenges and apply AI in that context, you will find the results to be very high ROI.
Okay. No, I mean, definitely, AI doesn't have to do anything that you're not doing now, at least especially in the beginning. So that makes a lot of sense. But one thing I would say that most small businesses need to use AI for is market research. Absolutely. Because generally small business owners might not do any market research or very little, because it can take a lot of time and resources to do it. But AI will do it for you
Now you've got a whole research agency at your disposal that can do all of that, right?
Right.
But Andrew, your point about so many small businesses often start with no market research. It often starts just with an opportunity, right? Like maybe you had a job and somebody said, hey, if I need the service, and you saw that and you leaped into that and you just jumped into providing that service. Or maybe you had a product or something that you offered. And we just follow the trail of opportunity. But even if it seems like it's plenty at the beginning, that's not the same as doing market research top down to say, where's the market really headed? And is that demand growing? Or is that demand actually, getting less every year? And if it is, you don't want to be on the wrong side of that equation and not see it coming. And that's why being able to constantly do that market research and be willing to burn the boats. It doesn't matter what your business used to be. It doesn't matter what you were passionate about. Really look at, what can you pivot towards where the demand exists, where the market is growing, and where you can actually create true value for customers.
Definitely. And, because of this, a lot of small business owners miss their market. They don't find the right product market fit. And that keeps them from growing. But
you can never outgrow the size of your market, right? So if your service is only, I remember years ago, a small business owner had come to me asking me for advice on how to grow her business. And, as I got to know what her service offering was, I found that it was something that only people in one specific city in California could use. It did not apply to anybody else. And it was only that city, and it was the city officials. Now think about how narrow that market is. It doesn't matter what investment you put into that. Your business can never outgrow the size of the market you're targeting. So you want to build a bigger business, target a bigger market, and then differentiate your solution from what already exists. And those fundamentals are so critical. And this is where AI, as your business strategist and your market research, is your best friend.
Definitely. And it's easy as saying, what's the best target market for the products and services I offer? Amazing what you'll get back, and then look at the target market you're going after. And, a lot of people are going after the wrong target market.
Or sometimes even reversing it.
Right.
What is your network access? Who do you actually have access to? And what are their problems?
Yeah.
And of those, which ones are you qualified and excited to solve? Sometimes that can actually lead to an evolution of your business. You find a new way or a new offering that you can provide simply because you have access to the buyers. Because often when we start with a product and it recommends a different target market, but you have no way to reach them, that's also a challenge in being able to pivot your offering.
Definitely. And so, that's key stuff. Even when you're in business, your business evolves. Every 3 years, my business, totally changes.
Exactly.
If I look at where my revenues are coming from. This year I instituted a new services around financial management from A to Z. So historically I did fractional CFO, but now we've incorporated the ability to do bookkeeping, taxes, and accounting work under our same firm. And that has become 30% of our revenues this year from zero. So, so definitely.
But imagine if you had not introduced that offering, that would be 30% less revenue that you would be making. And an opportunity that was completely missed. And that's the thing, is always be in love with your customer, not with your solutions or products.
Yes. And it evolved from customers. I had to send customers to other people. And the other people weren't doing the job that I needed them to do.
There you go.
So, it was market driven, so, it's important to look at, what you're doing and how else you can do a better job with your customers, because much easier to keep one and do more business with one than find a new one and try and do a lot of business with them. So definitely.
Andrew, you work with a lot of business owners. What is the most common challenge you find over and over again that AI could play a role in?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, probably 90% of the challenges that most small businesses have is they're not selling enough.
Mm-hmm.
So using AI to help you sell and market more effectively is I'd say that is the biggest thing. A lot of business owners, you may think, oh, I need financing.
Yeah.
You need to sell more. Or
but even the sell more becomes a much bigger strategic challenge, because you can't sell more if you're focused on the wrong market. So it actually
Correct.
starts really high up there in terms of the strategic decision making. Is the first question I ask is, are you even focused on a market that has the need? Are you selling vitamins or are you selling Excedrin? Because nobody remembers to take vitamins, but when they have a migraine, they want the Excedrin. So is your solution the Excedrin to, a growing market that has migraines? Targeting the right market, figuring out, do you have your solution packaged in an offer that people want to buy? Does it create desire in them? Or is the positioning so poor that it doesn't matter how many times you cold call or try to sell to them, nobody's willing to buy? It has to be an irresistible offer. Is it priced correctly? Is it differentiators very clear? Are there guarantees that remove risk from the purchase process? All of that, those are strategic questions that have to come way before you ever knock on a door and ask a customer for business. And all of those strategic questions are where you can use AI as your thought partner to figure out better positioning strategies, better market targets, better offerings, better pricing, better marketing pitches, and so forth.
Definitely. All that stuff is key. And utilizing AI to support that. One of the things that I found is really helpful when using AI is AI can give you an answer, but then you ask it, rate this answer, and how can I make it better? It's amazing. Just those two questions,
right,
can make what it delivers to you that much more effective. I guess, what are some ways, sort of like that, to get more out of AI? Because, like you said, it's not about playing around with AI, but, if you've got AI, so now what do I do?
Yeah. Well, I think you just alluded to that, which is prompting is actually a super skill now, right? We've always heard that old adage that says, a problem well defined is half the problem solved. And it's all about the better the quality of your questions, the better the answers you'll get. And you don't have to know what you don't know. You just have to figure out the questions to ask and get better at asking better questions. And one simple hack that anyone can use is, if there is a specific area that you want to use AI for. We talked about leveraging AI for market research and for figuring out the right business strategy for your business. Simply research, ask AI, what are the questions I should be asking if I want to build a great, if I want to do market research? Ask AI to come up with the questions, and you can even say things like, your role is to be the best strategist or a McKinsey consultant, and your job is to advise me on how to build, the right kind of strategy. Start with the questions to ask. Once you get the questions from AI, now start prompting it one by one to get the answers, but keep testing it in context of, giving it a role, giving it a very clear purpose, And then also testing that response to say, think deeper, or, look from this lens, or apply the latest research to it. The more you prompt it, and the more effectively you prompt it, the better the responses will be that you get.
Definitely. So, definitely the prompts are key. And, one other thing I found is, well, the more content you put in there, the better. So, instead of just, asking it for all the answers, the more you can, I use it for, helping me write stuff. But, before I say write the paragraph about this, I've either written the paragraph or I put bullet points so that it has more to work with, and it gives you back something that's more closer to, what you would do yourself, but better and faster. So,
yeah, one way to think about it is, think of AI as your artificial intern, right? You would not bring an intern to do your job with no instructions, right? You wouldn't just say, here, become the CEO of the company. It's your job now. If you brought in an intern, you would give very clear, specific directions. You would share your wisdom and perspective. You would bring in your original ideas. And then be very clear about the outcomes you're looking for. So if you think of AI as an intern, give to it what you would give to an intern, but don't have it replace you, because it cannot do what you can do. And that's where you're leveraging it to essentially, clone yourself to become exponentially more capable. I think of it like people squared, right? Like, we clone ourselves by leveraging it the right way, but done the wrong way, you're making it, almost, you're essentially asking to be replaced, because you're not offering anything in the mix.
Okay, definitely. So now you got GPT, you got Grok, you got all these other things. Which should we use, and what do they, how are they different or similar?
Well, I think they're all built as different kinds of models, also with different, learning models at the core of it. Some that tend to be much more research-based, some that are tapping into more publicly available data at scale, and therefore the responses are trained differently. The best way, rather than saying which is the right answer, my recommendation would be use them all, get comfortable with all of them, because you're also going to get very different perspectives. One way to leverage all of these tools is to come up with the challenge you're trying to solve. Let's say it's about, I need to sell more. How do I solve this problem in my business? Ask a set of questions to one of the LLMs, go to the next one, and use the response from the previous one and ask it to make it better and refine it further. Ask it to critique that response and find holes in, and go to the third one. That's one way where you're tapping into the collective intelligence of all of the models and actually testing and refining the answers that you're getting to one that is truly robust. And it's sort of like having your kitchen cabinet of advisors. One of the things that so many business owners struggle with is it's lonely. It's lonely building a business. You don't really have people that can be a sounding board to help you through all of the challenges and setbacks that you're dealing with on a regular basis. Now, think of each of these tools as that kitchen cabinet of advisors around you. When you are struggling with something, when in doubt, reach out to each one, reach out to all of them. And that's really the key of getting the support and advice you need to be successful.
Okay, excellent. So now an hour goes really fast.
It does.
We're open up on the hour, and this is such a great conversation. Definitely I'm enjoying it. Obviously, the audience is enjoying and getting a lot out of it as well. So before we let you go, what would be great if you could share 3 key takeaways from our conversation tonight, because at the end of the day, most people can't remember more than 3 things anyways.
Yeah.
So, 3 things that people should take away that they can start to implement even tomorrow within what they're doing. So if you could take a second to think about that, and I'm going to play a video about our most recent book that we launched. So we'll be back with you in a couple minutes. Hi, Andrew here, and I'm excited to announce the launch of our new book, 99 Proven Tips to Accelerate Your Masterpreneur Journey. 5 years, 33 incredible guests, hundreds of powerful business lessons, and now it's all in one place. Introducing 99 Proven Tips to Accelerate Your Masterpreneur Journey, a brand new book built from the insights, wisdom, and strategies shared by the guest experts of our podcast, Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. Inside, you'll discover actionable tips on how to launch smarter.
So if you have an idea that you have researched and you know who your customer is, and you think that you've got the experience you need, now is a perfect time to start a business. But remember, start as a side hustle first.
Grow faster.
So sales is about problem solving, not about manipulating. You have to understand the math of your business, the sales math.
Lead more effectively.
You shouldn't expect someone to be you. You have to understand and create processes to basically train people on how to handle certain situations and basically set people on the right path, right? So they can become successful within your organization.
And scale your business with confidence.
Bet on yourself and not be afraid to take risks, and to know that you have within you the ability to accomplish your dreams and accomplish your goals.
Think like an entrepreneur. Now, I know there may be many entrepreneurs listening, but there may be some who aren't entrepreneurs. It's all well and good. I'm here to say entrepreneurship is not just something you do, it's a way that you think. And the characteristics of an entrepreneur's thinking are creativity, resourcefulness, courage, resilience, and passion.
This isn't theory, it's practical advice straight from entrepreneurs and thought leaders who have done it. 5 years of conversations, 33 voices of experience, and now 99 tips to accelerate your masterpreneur journey. Get your copy today. Pre-order now to reserve your signed copy. Click the button below or scan the QR code to order from www.sbprou.com/99-tips. All right, good evening. Welcome back. I'm here with Nikki, and we're talking small business. The topic tonight is passion won't pay your bills in the age of AI. So, Nikki, we've had a great conversation. We've covered so much wonderful stuff, but what are the most important things that people should take away from what we discussed tonight?
Well, I'll share the 3 key things to winning in the AI age and really capitalizing on all the opportunities available. Number 1, be an explorer. Don't be so attached to your expertise or your passion or the things that your business did in the past. Be willing to learn, be curious and humble, and be an explorer that's taking risks, that is leading with curiosity and diving into this whole new world of infinite intelligence available to all of us. Number 2, double down on your zone of genius. Amplify that part, because what makes you different is what makes you valuable. So rather than trying to compete with AI, think about how you can amplify what makes you truly special and lead with that. And number 3, reinvent continuously. This is not a time to be a bystander and wait for someone to tell you what you need to change. Turn AI into the competitive advantage of your business. Do it before somebody else can do what your business is offering, and leverage AI to reinvent continuously. Let go of the old playbooks. Don't worry about the sunk cost. Focus looking forward and stay agile and keep working on your business and make AI that unfair advantage.
Hey, outstanding. So be an explorer, moving forward, learning new things, figuring out new solutions. Very important. Double down on your zone of genius. I think definitely in this environment, it's continually becoming more competitive, not just with AI, but with other business owners. And, really having the right value proposition and focusing on that is key. And then, continually reinvent yourself. Change.
Business. Keep working on your business all the time.
Definitely. So very valuable and key stuff. So, appreciate you taking time to share with us tonight, your expertise. Definitely. Are there any things you'd like to share before we close out?
Well, I'd thank you for having me on the show, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with your audience. And I'd invite people to connect with me on LinkedIn or through my website. And if it's of value, my weekly newsletter focuses on practical AI strategies that will make you a better leader and improve your business and build your culture in the AI age. So it's called Reinvention Roadmap. I think the link is in the chat below, but I look forward to connecting and serving and winning together in this great new world we're living in.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, and hang out for a minute as we close things out. Okay, well, hopefully you guys learned as much as I did, or even more, tonight in the session. So definitely appreciate Nikki really sharing some valuable stuff and just helping us understand how important AI is, but also, how to do things within AI. Theory is good, but practicality is what makes a difference. And so hopefully you took away some ways that you can utilize AI even more effectively than before. So definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for your questions. Unfortunately, we didn't get to all the questions, but they were very good questions. But feel free to reach out to myself and or Nikki, and we'd be glad to continue the conversation. This year is ending quickly. So, my goal for myself and for everyone else was to make 2025 your best year ever. So hopefully you've been able to do that. If not yet, you still have a little bit of time. So we want you to make 2025 your best year ever. And let us know how your year is going, what you're doing, and really make that extra effort at the end to see it through. So, of course, it's Thanksgiving week, so I'm wishing everybody happy Thanksgiving. You got Black Friday, you got Small Business Saturday, you got Cyber Monday. Many businesses make more around the holidays than they make all year. So, this is your opportunity to really double down and take advantage of this opportunity. Be proactive, be creative, be flexible, and really move your business forward at this time. So definitely appreciate tuning in. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Look forward to catching up with you in the coming week. And, at the end of the day, the more that the faster and more successfully your business is going to grow.
Thank you for listening to Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpru.com.
Hey entrepreneurs and business owners, Andrew Frazier here, and I'm very excited to invite you to the very first Masterpreneur Breakfast in its new format. If you love the Power Breakfast, this is the upgraded version. Sharper insights, higher level discussions, and a room full of owners serious about scaling. For more than 10 years,